fuck college, right? If you
Yo,
need, honestly,
facts.
for real, y'all, if there's anything you gotta tell me you don't want people to hear, yes, we are live. But if there's anything you don't want people to hear, you can always just message it to me in the little chat box.
Sounds
Little
good.
trick
Sounds
there.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
But yeah, yo, for real, I know you got some stuff you want to spit at us, and I got some stuff I want to talk about, recap after I, let you spit your shit. I'm gonna give you a chance to, get your stuff together, whatever it is you want to say. You got a minute. Let's get with it.
All right. Sounds good. So, what's up? What's up, everybody? First of all, I just wanted to share, a little bit of a conversation I had with a couple of coworkers today when I saw right after I saw the ruling of this case, which to me it was expected. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm trying to put on my headphones as I'm talking to you.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
give me
yeah.
1 second.
No, hold on. We're gonna take a break. So you got more than a minute. Now, when I say
All right,
you got
all
a
right.
minute, you got a minute to prepare yourself.
Oh, all
And
right,
then
all
you
right.
and then you'll be able to just let it out, however long you want
I
to take.
got you.
But you'll be able
I
to,
got
like, you know what I mean, go in. So you got a minute. All right, get yourself together, and when you can go ham.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good.
Say no more. Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jotel. Happy to have y'all. Your kinfolk with the info. What's going on tonight? What is going on? It is, as y'all know, the verdict has been announced. If you have been living under the rock, let me give it to you straight. Kyle Rittenhouse is walking free. How do you feel about that? All right, so we got a guest on tonight, Teddy Vasquez. You have been on the show before, but it's been almost a year. As I told everybody, we are coming up on the year anniversary of the Leon Block. Show some love to the Leon Block, y'all. He is one of our original guests, OG in this bitch. Welcome back to the Leon Block.
What's good, everybody? What's good? Yo, thanks for bringing me on. You convinced me, man. I really didn't want to go live, but whatever.
I'm good at that. I'm always like, well, tell people how you feel.
Yeah. And sometimes, we gotta say, put it out there. That's how it is.
Yeah.
Real talk. Like, the reason why we continue to have situations like this happen is because of the fact that we don't address it enough in a community.
Real.
We just drop it as, oh, well, that was the law, and we leave it at that. But if we go into law, what the fuck is morality, right? We need morality in it too.
Right.
So that's a little bit where my story is going to go into, but give me 1 second. Let me just get a sip of water.
Yeah. I got my coffee here with me.
Nice.
I need it. It's been a long night.
Man, I'm just chilling today. The wife went on a little trip, so I'm just here.
Oh yeah, I saw. That was nice. Yeah.
Yeah. But man, where should I start with this? I guess where I was at earlier. it was just really, for me, I saw this coming really from a long time ago. Like, there was nothing that was gonna be a surprise to me.
Right.
But at the same time, I was like, damn, like, even like this.
Not even one count of nothing, not a
right,
not a nothing.
Nothing at all. And it's
right.
It's ridiculous.
They could have made it at least look, not suspicious. They just said, we don't give a fuck. We just gonna let them go.
Don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's fucked up because like the conversation I had at work really was I'm just saying like, oh man, like, look at this. He was found acquitted on all fucking counts. Like, typical white America.
Yep.
Typical law and on whites in this case, and especially white males. If we go back and like even just think about, like, for example, the exonerated five, right? Yeah. Like, with them, how long did it take for them to get to be free and to be heard in the first place? Right. Like, I remember reading about this in the paper, or like hearing about this on the news. I was like maybe about 4 or 5 when this happened. Yeah. So I do like vaguely remember hearing about it on the TV. And hearing about it later on, when I was like maybe like in 4th grade, they brought it back up when they were first doing all the cases. And then
you were in New York, so I'm sure it was like on your primetime news.
I lived in.
For me, it was like secondhand, but I vaguely remember.
Yeah, no, I remember it because my 4th grade teacher, we used to do current events, and the way that we did, had to bring in a clipping of an article from the newspaper. It couldn't have been like just whatever. Like, you had to bring in an actual article from the newspaper and dissect it. So I remember reading about this in 4th grade, and that was about it. And like, here in this situation, like, this dude, there's no way that you can say he was 17 first off, right? Am I right? 17, or he was 17 at the time. And he has
Kyle?
he has a freaking AR-15 with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I was just thinking to myself, first off, gun laws, right?
Yeah.
He's a minor.
Well, the hell? No, because the judge threw that charge out.
Yeah, I know. But that's what I mean. Is like that's one that could have happened, right?
Yeah.
What's the other one? He murdered. If we were to take away, like, I'm just simply like taking away. If we were to take away the murders in this case, right? Because the murders, we for sure know that they happened. There's no way that those can be acquitted, but yet they were anyways. Right. And if you were to try to bring it down maybe to a lesser whatever, then that's where you have the others. In this case of like illegal possession of a firearm, could have been thrown in, and maybe he won't get fucking life, because we know how the fucking system works when it comes to Black and brown people. And it just could have been totally different. Having this conversation, and I'm sorry, I just keep like rambling off. Having this conversation at work, I bring this up.
Was it a heated conversation?
No, it wasn't anything heated. It was just, for me, I didn't even know how to handle it. I mean, this person is an older gentleman who I honestly have seen or heard him say certain things that I can say can be seen as offensive because of my perspective on shit. Like, I try to take it with a grain of salt in this case, because he still does his job. He still respects me as an individual, and everybody else that works with us, he still respects us equally. Right. Well, that may not be the best output to have in this case, especially these times. I still got to give it to him. He's an older guy who's only lived in Lancaster his entire life. So, there we have the isolation situation going on, which I always say breeds hate and breeds racism in this case, is because you are isolated completely. But his response to this whole thing was, the judges, or he was already in this case acquitted by the his peers, in this case by the jurors. and all these counts were taken off the table. So like that was the law. That's what it is.
Nah.
And I'm like, yeah, I understand that is the law and that's what it is.
Wow.
But here's where I came and I started to think about this more after I left that conversation, because I was like, you know what, it's work. I really don't need to have a heated argument about something that's not affecting me right now at this moment.
Now hold on. Hold your thought right there real quick. Keep your thought in your head, because I need for viewers to hear this, because this is a very interesting, this is a learning lesson for everyone to hear. And I'm glad that you brought this up, because what do you do when you're at work and you have a great professional rapport with your peer, but you can clearly see that they may possibly be on the other side of the aisle than you, and you get into this debate about Kyle Rittenhouse, and it sounds like he's not being blatantly disrespectful. He genuinely feels the way he feels, maybe in my opinion a little misguided, but he genuinely feels that way, and I can kind of understand why based off of what you're saying. But that still nonetheless doesn't put one, like if I was in that situation, I would feel like I'd be put in a sticky situation as far as how I'm going to respond to that. So I am curious as to how you did respond to that.
I actually did not respond to it. I just kind of like left it as, I agree in the sense of like that was the law and that's what the law determined. You know, I guess there's nothing we can do about that right now, except for try them later on. But I guess double jeopardy laws also apply to certain people and not others.
Yeah. So he can't be tried. I believe he cannot be tried in the state of Wisconsin again.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's likely that's
going to happen anyways.
Right. Yeah. So it's kind of a done. Yeah.
Right. So I kind of just left it as, you know, that's fine. You're right. That's what the judge said. That's what the jurors said. Let's keep it at that. But as I kept on thinking afterwards, as now I'm home, everybody's already in bed, and I'm like thinking about that conversation. And I'm like, man, like really what I should have responded with was, I understand that that's the law, but the problem with America is the fact that we do not acknowledge all the wrongs that we do. When we look at Germany, for example, Germany acknowledges what happened with the Nazis.
Talk about it.
You know what I mean? They acknowledge it to the point that it's like, yo, like we can't let this shit happen again. That was a disgrace.
Yeah.
And that's what we keep on stumbling, is over ownership of our own actions. As a country. I'm not saying as individuals.
Yeah, no, I can't agree with you more. Yeah.
It doesn't acknowledge its own fucking actions. And how do you supposed to hold an entire country accountable? But yeah, that was just my thing, is like, that's how I wish I would have responded, is it's unfortunate that is the law, but it's also morally wrong. The Nazis understood the Germans understood that what the Nazis did were wrong, and they completely teach about it. They tell you what the fuck happened. It's a whole course. But we don't even dive into the fucking slavery here. Just the slavery.
For real. Yeah, we'd rather burn books
with Native Americans.
For real. We don't want to talk about nothing. These WXY parents are like, I don't want my kids learning any of their history. It's like, okay, well, what do you want your kids to learn then? I don't want them to learn nothing. It's like, okay, well, what do you want them to be? I don't want them to be nothing. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to go that way because y'all are on some other shit.
Well, and then you wonder why, because one of the things that I do have to say, as someone who is now in his mid 30s and has seen a huge change in my own life, but one of the things that I see that, oh shoot, now I just fucking lost my train of thought.
Well, growing up in your 30s, what have you noticed now, like compared to then?
Man, I completely just lost it right now.
Damn. It happens.
Could you hear me?
For real, like, what'd you say?
Okay. No, I didn't know if you could hear me because I like kind of like just went blank for a minute.
I'm still here, brother. I'm still here. You hear that beat? You know I'm here.
Yeah. Sounds good. Well, the beat went dead for a second. That's why I was wondering.
Oh, well, yeah, it does that too.
Oh man. Shit. Yeah, it was about the whole 1619 project, for example. Like, I feel the 1619 project is wonderful and that we should be teaching this shit because, like, it really does dive into the actual history of, in this case, Black America. Mm-hmm. But we need to go further than that as well. You know, I say maybe the 1492 project.
Let's talk about it. We can go further than that.
I don't know. I made that up, but I think that we should be going back, you know, as far as we can, because to be honest, like there's been so many shit that we have lost just because of our ways of our lives right now. Like we live in a consumerist society, and if you look at the way that the natives live their lives, it was very much about living in balance and in harmony with nature and with everyone and everything.
Yes.
And while, yes, we have been able to make these crazy advances technologically because of fucking capitalism, unfortunately. Well, fortunately in a sense, but also unfortunate because there are certain people who only wish to line their pockets and forget the actual populace that supports it. Mm-hmm. You know, I just feel that we just need to start really teaching the facts about what's happened in our world as history overall. Not only here, also teach about history abroad. Like, I'm not just scratch the surface like most fucking places do anyways.
I'd rather something than nothing, though. Me too. But I'd rather something than nothing. I'd rather a basic understanding than a misguided and a misled and a completely fabricated shit, you know, than anything.
Right. Like, I was actually asking my 5-year-old today about what has she learned about Thanksgiving. And all she said that she learned is about the turkey. You know, the turkey has big feathers. I'm like, I mean, I guess you're in kindergarten. That makes sense.
Right.
You know, I'm like, all right, that's cool. I'm like, all right, let me tell you about some real cool stuff now.
Right.
Yeah. But I do want to say that with my 5-year-old, I still don't baby her, even though I know that she has a very young mind. Like, I still tell her, like, shit happens, people die, and people have been killed. You know? So, like, you have to... I need her to understand that these are things that do happen and to understand, like, death is a part of life, but unexpected or tragic or even intended deaths are not okay, you know?
Right.
And it's something that I feel that a lot of parents, especially out here in the suburbs and rural areas, they just want to keep babying their kids, you know? Then they grow up and they don't know shit about the world. That's where I was going earlier. They feel entitled to everything.
Affluenza, that's that shit. Yep.
The entitlement also stems from the fact that you don't learn your own history, the real history.
Yes.
I mean,
talk about it, brother.
Goes hand in hand, man.
I really think it's that what do you say, like one feeds the other, you know what I mean? And it just continues this downward like spiral. One just feeds the other, and we need to break that cycle.
Right. And
the way through that, history and education.
Yep. The truth will set you free. The Bible says it. People don't realize I'm not very religious. I'm not religious at all, maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
But the truth will set you free, right? It was written in stone. So is about being truthful at 100% of the time.
For real. Yo, there's this article I'm seeing. It says check this. The Rittenhouse verdict and a Supreme Court case could spell an open season on protesters. So I'm gonna read this article real quick, and then I'm gonna let you have your last words, and I'm gonna let you go because I know you're a busy man. Damn, it's 12 o'clock on the dot. Nice. I'm making good time. So today, or yesterday, Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted on all charges after killing 2 people and wounding another while he was conducting his own armed vigilante patrol of Kenosha, Wisconsin, in response to Black Lives Matter protests. Earlier this month, the Supreme Court heard oral arguments in a case about whether people have a constitutional right to concealed carry permits. Why am I talking about these two things together? Because in combination, these 2 cases could mean that it is soon going to be open season on racial justice protesters around the country. The Rittenhouse verdict is obviously very concerning for racial justice protesters. Rittenhouse said he went to Kenosha that night to protect property, and he did so by openly brandishing a semi-automatic rifle through the streets of the city in the midst of unrest over the shooting of Jacob Blake. While patrolling the streets, there was gunfire that resulted in some of the Black Lives Matter protesters thinking Rittenhouse was attacking them. They charged Rittenhouse, and he opened fire, killing Joseph Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber and injuring Gage Grosskreutz. Rittenhouse was charged with 6 different felonies, 6, including homicide, recklessly endangering safety, and illegal weapon possession. And earlier today, almost 4 days of deliberations, 4 long days of deliberations, a Wisconsin jury acquitted him on all of those charges. And as a result, even though he went to Kenosha to brandish a weapon and wound up killing 2 people, Rittenhouse walks out of the courthouse today a free man. Responses to the acquittal have fallen largely upon predictable lines, but a particular thread in the right-wing response should be even more concerning than a general support the conservative movement has shown to him. One outlet is reporting that far-right groups are looking at the verdict as a precedent for future street violence in response to protests, such as those that may happen this weekend because of the verdict. Wow. And U.S. Representative Madison Cawthorn came out with a statement this afternoon that the verdict is cause for celebration and that his supporters should be armed and be dangerous. The Rittenhouse verdict comes on the heels of the oral argument in an important Second Amendment case before the Supreme Court, addressing the right of people to carry weapons in public. The case argued on November 3rd raises the question whether states can deny people concealed carry permits without an extraordinary reason for doing so. At oral argument, the court's 6-3 conservative majority seemed poised to rule that the Constitution protects the right to such permits. Oh my goodness. It might not be an unlimited right, as some of the court's conservative justices expressed concern that there should not be a right to carry a weapon in crowded spaces, such as sports stadiums or Times Square on New Year's Eve. But beyond that, the justices seem very willing to proclaim that everyone has a right to carry a weapon in public. Their basic reasoning goes to the heart of the Rittenhouse case. To the court's conservatives, the world is a place where you always need a weapon because of the ever-present possibility you will be attacked and need to use your gun in self-defense. This is exactly the defense Rittenhouse successfully used in his trial, but because he's white, let's be real, the Supreme Court won't rule on this case until next year, probably late June, but the writing is on the wall given a questioning earlier this month and reveals just how conservative this set of justices is. There's never a guarantee, but almost everyone believes that by the middle of next year, there will be a constitutional right to carry a weapon in public, maybe with a few exceptions. What this means in conjunction with the Rittenhouse verdict is very scary for all, but especially for racial justice protesters everywhere. And with a proliferation of concealed carry permits and a sense among the far right after today's verdict that they have the freedom to patrol racial justice protests and act as vigilantes, along with the police as well, the court system's message couldn't be clearer. anyone who protests against racial injustice risks taking their lives into their own hands.
Yeah.
Let that be a lesson to us all right now. Seriously. What's your thoughts on that, brother?
I mean, we have had open season on everyone who's not white pretty much for a long ass time. The only difference is it has never been actually stated out there, other than back, in
I was gonna say back in the day, yeah.
Except for
it's
back
the same thing as back there.
Yeah, like, but now it's like it looks like we're going back to that, pretty much.
Yep. Yeah.
The one thing I will say about this whole bullshit about being able to carry your arms in public is like, what the hell are you so afraid of? Like, we do not live in the wilderness anymore where we have fucking bears jumping out at us from every fucking corner,
right?
Or wolves and shit. Like, dude, like where I'm at, I actually might get shot by going outside and smoking a cigarette in the front of my house by a cop than I would by anything else.
For real.
You know what I mean? Even living in New York City, I never had a situation where I needed a fucking gun. Where I felt unsafe. And I've been to places that I felt unsafe before, like, out in places out in Queens that I've never been to when I was a kid. And I was like, oh, why the fuck am I even fucking scared? It's the same shit as being in my own hood. It's just a different area. That's it.
But honestly, that danger is anywhere across America because you never know who is thinking what about just the way that you look, just the way that you are. It could be in Brooklyn. It could be in Queens. It could be in Alabama. It could be in Texas. It could be in San Francisco. You never know. Today, now, especially after this, you never know. But even before this, and we knew that. And something I think you touched on and pointed out was that, like, honestly, it doesn't matter the time frame because there was never any point in time in America that was great for people like you and I.
Right.
So the target has always been on our back, but the definition in clear cut bullet point blueprint is there for those people to follow and say, okay, if I want to do things this way, I could just do that.
Right.
You're so on the money.
Hey, man, I'm just sharing my thoughts here.
Well, yo, I appreciate your input always. And yo, for real, you're always welcome to the Leon Block, man. Don't forget that.
Well, I just want people to know I didn't fall off for any reason in particular other than I need to take care of my family. And that's the reason why I took a little hiatus from politics and all this stuff, especially after losing the primary. I think that with my run this year in the primary, I did as well as I could. But I needed to take this break. So it was good that I actually lost the primary.
Sometimes like it's like now people see things as competition, but really it's about a lesson that you need to learn or an understanding that you may need to have.
Right.
And there was a lot to learn from that experience. I will say that for sure, for me at least.
No, definitely. The one thing that I do have to say is with everything, like I don't do things without intent or without purpose. I got into my graphic design stuff years ago because of my passion, right? But I got into politics because it's something that's always been embedded in me from my family, from my dad's side, from my mom's side. So I've seen how they have supported certain people that I don't agree with, but maybe because it's for the better of the party. But we got to stop doing shit like that because that's where we continue to screw ourselves over and shoot ourselves in the foot is because it benefits a party. Who gives a fuck about the party? It's the citizens that we're here to represent, not the party relationship. The party is a vehicle for the individual to get to where he needs to get.
Also, go ahead.
And I was just gonna say, and that's simply it. Like I'm again, when I do run, I will run again eventually. I'm not saying that I'm running for anything in specific right now, But when I do, I'm going to do it exactly as I did it this time, completely grassroots. I'm not going to beg for support from parties, but I will, in this case, seek from organizations that I would like to work with, or be able, or organizations that have given me some sort of support that I feel is beyond party lines,
Yo, for real. I think a lot of people are starting to come to that point, and there only more people are going to come to that point. So I think it's nice for people like us to be ahead of the curve, to continue to just make the right choices behind the scenes to know where we want to go when we're ready. Facts. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yep.
And I think a lot of people are probably on that same page. And it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, definitely.
For real.
But it was definitely a pleasure, man.
For real.
And peace, and appreciate the chat.
Of course, as always. Thank you for joining us, Teddy.
No doubt, man. Take care.
You too. Be good. All right, y'all. So that was one of our friends to the Leon Block, Teddy Vasquez, giving his thoughts that he wanted to share on the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, and a conversation that he had with a coworker and his experience and thoughts that he had concerning it. You are always welcome to speak your truth and give a mouthpiece. If you have something that you need to vent out and it pertains to anything concerning the kind of stuff that we share on the Leon Block, hit us up, message us, reach out and ask, can I jump on? Can I have something to say? And we will gladly let you on and let you speak your truth. As always, brother, it's always mad love. Thank you for joining us. And again, thank you for showing the world that, like, this is y'all platform. This is for y'all to speak your mind and let the world know what the average person really thinks. That is what is important. That is what independent media is all about. And for real, we need to let these motherfuckers know, like, they do not run us. We run this joint. And yeah, you may have two different systems of law here, but it doesn't mean that we agree with it. And we're going to let you know that. Thank you, Teddy, for speaking your mind and letting us know how you feel about it. And anyone else, if you want to come on, you want to chat, you want to let the world know how you feel about something, by all means, let me know and I will send you a link and you can hop on anytime. Word. In the meantime, like I said, if you got something you want to say, feel free to shout out. But I do have other drops for y'all tonight. Yes, other drops for y'all. There's always news to be had, always news to talk about. So Teddy was talking about the Rittenhouse trial. There is the I gotta get out of that habit. There is the McMichael Bryan trial. Mainstream media keeps labeling it Ahmaud Arbery, and they'll find a way to make it Ahmaud Arbery's name, the headline, or the name in the headline, and they find a way to not put McMichael or Bryan. And I want y'all to keep note of that. Anyway, of course, we're going to get into that story too. But a Black U.S. Army officer sues a New Orleans casino, and the employee that claimed her military ID was fake. Yeah, I posted that in the comments for y'all to check out too. Ahmaud Arbery killing trial. You see how they did that, right? CNN. The title says Ahmaud Arbery killing trial instead of McMichael Bryan trial. Again, keep mind of that. Defense attorney sought a plea deal for one defendant and was declined. Arbery's mother's lawyer says. So, I'm guessing that was for Bryan. Yep. William Roddy Bryan Jr.'s lawyer asked for a plea deal before resting their case, and prosecutors declined any plea offer, Lee Merritt said Friday. I don't care if you didn't hold a gun, you held a phone, and you just as guilty. You hopped in the truck with them. Fuck you. So I did put that in the comments as well. Yes, I did. Just to make sure y'all can check that out too. And then I got something feel good, and then I'm gonna put in the comments. I think it's really awesome. You know, all about body positivity, and I grew up listening to Brandy, and her daughter she's grown up, y'all, and she had struggled with being a big girl, and she she got down to a size that she feels as though is healthy for her, and just talked about being a teenager and social media, especially like Instagram's influence on young women, especially, and how being in the limelight and seeing her mother as a celebrity, being in certain dresses and certain outfits, and feeling like, why I'm not, like that? Why am I not like them? It really, weighed heavy on her, but she's come to a completely different point in her life, and I really commend her. And it's just something I wanted to highlight, something feel good for our young women to really look at. AOC said, what we are seeing is a system functioning as designed, protecting those it was designed for. Yo, spitting them fucking gems. For real. I don't know if y'all remember Julius Jones. We talked about this. We've been talking about this. I haven't talked about it much per episode, but I talk about it a lot, actually, though. So he has been granted clemency, and it was hours before his scheduled execution. And it's just crazy how, like, so many people have been praying and like trying to make sure that this manifests. And we're going to make sure that we keep going to get him home, because we know that he is an innocent man. We know that he didn't do this, and it has been proven. It has been proven that he's been framed. The person who actually committed the crime actually said so. So let's get this brother home. Like, and he's been there since like 99. Like, come on, y'all. Y'all want more information on other stories? You definitely want to check out democracynow.org, because they have all the stuff you want to hear. The Amazon deforestation in Brazil hits a 15-year peak, and indigenous groups in Ecuador oppose mining plans. And the photo for this, y'all. All right, so I'm going to put the photo in right now. Give me 1 second. I'm going to drop this photo, and you're going to be like, what? Y'all know how we feel here at the Leon Block about Bolsonaro. And yeah, the Amazon was having stuff going on. Here it is. Boom, booyah. Before Bolsonaro, but this is just unprecedented. Brazilian government data show deforestation in the Amazon rainforest has reached its highest level in over 15 years. Yeah, that mofo, for real. Increasing by 22% in the past year. At the recent UN climate summit, Brazil pledged to end and reverse deforestation by 2030. Man, I don't buy that. Just like I don't buy Biden. Like, yo, for real. Meanwhile, in Ecuador, a historic hearing was held this week at the Amazonian jungle over a plan to extend mining in the region, which indigenous communities oppose and say cannot go ahead without free and informed consent. A Waorani activist and 2020 Goldman Environmental Prize winner said that after this hearing, we are hoping they will do the same thing in other indigenous nations where there are similar cases, which we've won, and we want it to be enforced. Decision making in the territory is our decision. So let that be known that indigenous folk, they're not letting this go. Like, they're holding shit down. You know what I'm saying? Who the fuck is calling me? Mess it up. Come on, y'all. So, and I tell people, like, come on. Don't do this to me. Anyway, y'all gotta wake up and know that we gotta listen to the people who live off of the land, whose land we sit on, because they know what's up. And if they're telling us, we need to listen. We don't listen enough. And soon enough, at one point, they may not always be here. Then what you gonna do? So, today, what? Travis McMichael admits Ahmaud Arbery never threatened him as defense rests. Aye. This mofo too. Like, I can't. This is gonna be the year where we see just whiteness on display for people to pick apart, and I really want everyone to sit there and pick it apart, because it's there for the taking, to soak it up and understand how this stuff operates, how racism is so pervasive and permeates everything in our society. It's in everything. It's in everything. And this is how. It's just, ooh. Oh yeah, and y'all do know that thank you for real. Check out that website. Actually, yes, that's the only way. That is the only way. Honestly, all brown people, all black and brown people of the world, it's important for us to remember our collective spirit. Seriously, because we have a beat. When we beat together, like, there's power in numbers. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm getting at. There's power in numbers, and when you come together and you feel that energy together, you really do become your own one mind, one heart, and a lot of things can be accomplished. And I feel like there are a lot of people that are coming to that point where things are falling into place. You just gotta hold on. In Aurora, Colorado. I can never say that right. Aurora. Fuck it. Aurora, Colorado. Yeah, look, laugh at me all you want to. But the place where Elijah McClain was lynched, the city decided to pay a $15 million settlement to his family. I don't know how y'all feel about that. But they settled a civil rights lawsuit. Yeah. There it is. Yo, what's up, Guido? Thank you for tuning in. I think, personally, this is my opinion. Money talks, right? And if you're smart, yeah, I see that. Look, I see that. I get it. Look, and maybe I should change the picture because I'm not talking about Travis McMichael right now. But with Elijah McClain, money talks. And if you can't get what you need to get in the law, and someone's willing to give you money, I don't care what that money transfers as, if it's a pity, if it's just to shut you up. First of all, me personally, you're not going to shut me up. But I'm going to do something with that money. I'm going to make that money talk if it's given to me, to get the kind of justice or make plant some kind of seeds to make something grow out of that, to make sure that someone's not in vain. You know what I'm saying? Like, their voice wasn't for nothing. Yo, for real, money does talk. Yo, I'm here every night, bro. I'm here every night, speaking truth to power, talking my shit, because people need to hear this, for real. And this is news that you can honestly catch anywhere. I just pick it up and I deliver it to y'all, so you can catch it anytime. Remember, you could subscribe, like, share, and you can get the notifications in your link, in your Dropbox, and you can know when I'm going live at any time. But you can always go back and check it too. But seriously, let me know how y'all feel about this Elijah McClain settlement. For me, I think that if they're smart, if the family's smart, they can do something good with it. I will be legit and say that there are times where families don't do anything with it, but there's a lot of context behind that too. That's a whole nother discussion to get into. You know, there's a lot of other things behind that. But seriously, there has been a lot of different things to maneuver through. There was honestly, there was something I wanted to break into with y'all that somebody sent to me earlier from my team, and I'm just gonna say it. So there's some guy that was accused of raping a bunch of young girls, and he's probably going to be acquitted. Of course, he's a young white man. I guess he's 20 years old. Niagara County judge decided not to give 20-year-old Christopher Belter any prison time after he pleaded guilty in 2019 to raping 4 teenage girls. Yo. And this, like, it's when I say when it rains it pours, and it's going to be a slew of all this that's going to hit the mainstream. The mainstream's going to take this and ride the wave with it. So I just want to forewarn y'all of that. But this shit's already been out there. We've already been soaked in it. So don't let this scare you too much. Exactly. Right there. This is the society that we have lived in, and us black and brown people have lived in this pool of shit, this yuckiness of American society for our whole lives. So we're used to it. This is nothing new. It's just being put out for everyone to see. So I just want to remind you of that. Don't let this, yes, explicit content. That's why I just wanted to give you a highlight of it and put it in the articles, in the comments, so that you can check it out for yourself if you choose to. But seriously, y'all, my point is that there's a lot of stuff going on right now. It's important for you to take some time to yourself, take a load off, meditate, menstruate, have a break, go have a drink. I did. By the way, I went to, and this is to put things in full circle here, circling back to some of the podcasts that I did yesterday, the expose that we did about the extra give or the extraordinary give, however you want to label it, and some components of that, and to why we felt like you need to donate direct to the small business or organization that you want to donate to. It doesn't mean that I don't support the thing in its entirety. Now, I went tonight, check it out. I filmed. Shout out to Dominique Jordan. Shout out to True to You. Shout out to TCP. The whole crew was out there tonight, and it was an amazing performance. Dominique did his thing. Terry and Mac did his thing. Like they vibed out to this. For real, it was like this really organic style type of band, and then there was a background singer. Like, it was really cool. It was really dope. So my point is, after this trial verdict came out, right? You can't, yeah, we're frustrated, but most of us already knew what the verdict was gonna be because we was following the motherfucking trial. We knew what it was gonna be. So keeping that in mind, you don't want to keep too much of the shock factor. It's like, okay, well, we was already plotting and thinking about what the next step was. So it's that moment to like take a chill pill, to let some steam off for the night. You know what I mean? Let this marinate and think about what this means, and take note of that article that I read with Teddy a few moments ago about what this means for all the right-wingers and white supremacists, that this was their alarm to be sounded, to come after, physically attack any kind of activists and protesters or anyone that's protesting whatsoever. So I want you to be smart. I want you to be safe. I don't care what the hell you do, but be smart and be safe. For real. Because these people have been planning forever. This is like their apocalyptic, oh, this is the end of the times war. To them it is, because they're saving this is like their last shot at being the dominant, being the authority is the way that they see it. And they're going to give their all. To them, they do see it as a war. We don't see it as a competition. We're just living. We're living. And we want to thrive. We want our kids to be able to live and thrive. To them, it's a whole different other thing. And that's the point that I'm trying to make here, just to be aware of that, be safe and mindful of that. Now, My mouth's getting dry. I done had too much coffee. I just wanted to inform y'all, throw this like a full circle, you know what I mean? Like, and let this face just brighten, like give y'all a little laughter real quick. You know what I'm saying? Because that was phony, that was fake. Yes, he's roaming free, but I truly, truly believe that karma will find a way to make things right. Wink, wink, if you know what I mean. I really think that something is gonna happen. Whether it's just us learning a lesson and knowing what we need to do as far as like really getting our boots firm deep in the ground and plotting some shit. Like seriously. I mean that. Like plotting some shit. And that I don't care if it means diving your head deeper into some books or diving deeper into strewing chemicals together, or if it's planning your next action or anything in between. Dive deeper into it. Get creative. Now is the time. You know what I'm saying? It's important, y'all. I love y'all. And I thank y'all all for always tuning in and holding it down. Make sure you subscribe, follow, like, share. It's important. And make sure you're holding these important conversations about the things that we talked about, because mainstream media is not going to deliver it to you like we do. Make sure that you're highlighting these conversations with the people that you need to be holding accountable, especially if you WXY folk. Make sure you're doing your duty. Thank you for tuning into the Leon Block. Meditate on your path, celebrate your being, liberate your spirit, and educate yourself, y'all. I'm John Tell. Arm yourself with knowledge and have a blessed journey.